Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Fragrance du Bois. This one is called Oud Orange Intense. I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Oud Orange Intense by Fragrance du Bois, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what it smells like, how long it lasts, the performance, all that good stuff, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you got to do is click on that red button in the corner, and while you're at it, if you can give this video a thumbs up, it would really mean a lot to me. So here we're actually taking a look at a fragrance that came out in 2013, so it's about 8 years old now. Kind of hard to imagine that it's been around that long, but of course Fragrance du Bois has been around for a very long time. They've worked with some of the most accomplished perfumers out there. I've actually had the opportunity of reviewing a couple of their fragrances, New York Intense being one of them, an amazing spicy cinnamon, blackberry, and myrrh type of a fragrance. And then of course there's also Minuit et Demi, which I've reviewed on my channel. Well, today, we're going to be focusing our attention on Oud Orange Intense. This fragrance was composed by a Givaudan perfumer called Caroline Sabas. She has done Unforgivable by Sean John, You or Someone Like You by Tatliber d'Orange. She's done many fragrances for Britney Spears. She just has a really, really impressive resume. And in terms of the note breakdown for this one, you got to be a fan of fruity fragrances. And so, of course, with a name like Oud Orange Intense, I'm expecting a little bit of orange. And sure enough, you do have this amalgamation of fruits in the opening. You also have bourbon, vanilla, agarwood, musk, coconut. So according to the note breakdown, definitely tropical leaning, but a little bit dark on account of that agarwood. So I'm very excited to give you my comprehensive thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that fruity accord. And there's like a little bit of everything in here. So as I smell it, I'm picking up on a little bit of peach or apricot. So something about those two ingredients is adding a touch of femininity, but this isn't a feminine fragrance by any means. This is completely unisex because you also get a good amount of that coconut in here as well. Now there's something sweet in here too. So as I'm smelling it, I'm trying to determine if it's raspberry or plum or strawberry. There's just something sweet in the opening that's also conveying a little bit of tartness. Now, in terms of orange, you know, there's a lot of citrusy orange fragrances on the market, and orange has a very specific smell. Do I pick up on it in this fragrance? Yes, I do, but I think it's far from being the star player here. This is a very plentifully citrusy and fruity fragrance. And so you have a lot of all of those elements in the opening, and they create a really delightful introduction, in my opinion. Now, of course, from the very opening of this fragrance, you are also going to pick up on that bourbon vanilla. So it's a really sweet, sort of boozy vanilla that you're getting in here. It doesn't smell too strongly of rum or cognac or whiskey or anything like that, but you are certainly going to get that sweet vanilla in the base. And there's also agarwood in here. And of course, with a name like Fragrance du Bois, bois means wood, so I am expecting there to be a little bit of woods in here. And that's certainly the case with all of these other fragrances here. Now, in this one, you get the agarwood, but it's made so genial and so friendly and accessible and wearable on account of all those other ingredients. And I personally find that agarwood is wearable even on its own. It's just that it appeals more so to the connoisseur of fragrances as opposed to the person who's getting into like entry-level fragrances or somebody who's a newbie, for lack of a better word. But I definitely pick up on a little bit of that agarwood residing in the base, but of course it is kind of in a sense overshadowed by the fruity notes, and I think that that's exactly what they were going for here. Now, the musk that's in here smells clean. It doesn't smell animalic. It really creates a well-polished nature over all of the other ingredients that are in here. And that fruity accord is probably the most persistent thing that you're going to get in this fragrance. And so you're going to get that exotic fruity vibe in here. And of course, there are a lot of other fruity fragrances that come to mind, whether Erba Pura by Xerjoff or Kirke by Tiziana Terenzi. But this one is quite different from those, you know. At times, I was also reminded a little bit of Orza by Tiziana Terenzi, because that one also has coconut and some other fruity ingredients. And so perhaps I would say this one smells kind of similar to that, but it's still in its own wheelhouse, it's its own beast. And this one also came out many, many years before Orza. And so there's really no comparison there. This is a unique fragrance, super stoked to have it in my collection. And of course, with the vanilla and the fruity notes and the agarwood and how dense this fragrance comes across smelling, I would personally reserve this one for the fall/autumn or even the winter time. I think you can definitely pull this off in the winter time, just because it is a little bit of a heavier perfume. And so, you know, those are my thoughts regarding when to wear this one. But I think it's a very well put together fragrance, completely unisex. I love the fruity vibes that are in here. I think they will appeal to both men and women alike. And I'm personally a really, really big fan of this one. I think I'm going to be reviewing, you know, Oud Blue Intense next, or maybe if you'd like for me to review the original New York. You know, I'm always taking recommendations, and so just leave a comment down below. Always love to interact with my subscribers. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I definitely find this one to be unique, despite the fact that it is a fruity perfume. And of course, I've smelled a lot of other fruity perfumes, but I think the one thing that this fragrance really has going for it is the fact that the fruits smell so natural. But there's just so much going on in here that it's hard to really pinpoint and identify exactly what you're smelling. Now, in terms of the coconut, yes, I do pick up on a little bit of coconut. Can also give off that lactonic fig type of a quality, and of course, fig is a fantasy note in perfumes, and so might remind you of some fig perfumes out there, but I'm getting coconut, I'm getting the fruity notes, I'm getting that exotic fruity cocktail in the opening, and of course the bourbon, vanilla, and the agarwood are the perfect accent. And it's more like 75% vanilla, 25% agarwood. And so if you're expecting this to be like an oud overdose, that's not what you're going to get here, but it is rather sweet, and I think that the vanilla is a perfect complement to the fruity notes in the opening. In terms of the longevity, you can expect about 9 to 10 hours on your skin. The projection was amazing for the first hour and a half to 2 hours of application. It actually did radiate beyond an arm's length for the first hour, and it didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 6 to 6.5 hour mark, not fully becoming a skin scent until about that 8-hour mark. And by that 9th hour, you can pretty much reapply or spray on something else. But the longevity and the performance on this one are certainly above average. In terms of the versatility, I think this is perfectly versatile. I would prefer to wear this one in every season except for the summer. I think it's perfectly unisex. I think the sweetness will appeal to somebody who's a little bit younger. And I think that bourbon, vanilla, fruity, musky agarwood thing will appeal to somebody who has a little bit more experience in the perfume world, somebody who's a little older, a little more mature as well. And I think anybody of any age can wear this one and really appreciate it. And in terms of the presentation, I think it's really opulent and luxurious looking. You know my thoughts on Fragrance du Bois presentations from the past 2 videos that I've done for them. My final verdict on this fragrance is, I love it. I love that fruity cocktail in the opening. I think it's very appealing. I think it's very easy to wear. There's enough of that musky component to add a little bit of cleanliness to the composition and really clean up the agarwood that's in here. But that fixative property of the agarwood is residing in the base and really, you know, boosting this fragrance up off your skin to get you noticed. And I think it's a really powerful composition by Fragrance du Bois, not just in terms of its tenacity and its long-lasting nature and its propensity to project off your skin, but in terms of the vibe that it gives off, in terms of the overall smell. I think it's really powerfully done. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was my fragrance review of Oud Orange Intense by Fragrance du Bois. If you own or have tried this fragrance, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Or if you've tried any fragrance from this brand, I would love if you would let me know which is your favorite. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And of course, if you can give this video a thumbs up once more for the YouTube algorithm, it would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye.